Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Today we're going to do a good old-fashioned declutter. It's the beginning of the year and many of us like to go through, organize, and declutter our makeup. We're going to start today with foundation, and let's start right off the bat with the easiest to pare down for me, which is stick foundations and powder foundation. Okay, let's start with stick foundations. This shade 260 by Milani Conceal and Perfect. It was never the correct shade. I bought it online and I just picked the wrong one, and I never took the time to go back and find the right shade, so that one's out. These next two by Wet n Wild, same thing. Neither of these shades match me, and they never will, even in the depth of winter. These are the shades 865 Sand Beige and 864A Golden Tan. So those are out as well. This cushion foundation by Wet n Wild, it looks promising, but I haven't actually, as far as a shade match, but I haven't actually used it yet. So that is going in the keep pile. This Dream Cushion by Maybelline, the shade works only in the winter. It's shade 45. So I will hang on to that because I like how it lays on the skin. It just only works in the dead of winter. Also, by the way, the shade that I have in the Wet n Wild is Tawny. Okay. These mineral powders from Bare Minerals, I have 3 of them left. This shade is medium dark N40. This is the one I used to use the most. I haven't used this in the longest time, so that one is out. Warmth was a shade that was sort of like a bronzer. It wasn't bad, but it's so messy, so that is out as well. And this shade, W40, I never used. It's a little bit too red of an undertone for a foundation, so I need to donate this to someone. Maybe my mom, maybe not, because her undertone is neutral like mine, so we'll keep that one in the donate pile. And this powder foundation by L'Oreal, it's a true match, and it's in the shade Classic Tan in 6-7. This actually is a good match for me in the summertime, and I like the coverage that it gave on kind of light makeup days. So I will hold on to this one. Okay, very successful right off the bat. Okay, let's go into the next category, which I will just say is things in tubes, because not all of these are foundations. Some of them are tinted moisturizer, but we'll just, for the sake of the video, call them things in tubes. I have 3 from L'Oreal, the Pro Glow, which used to be one of my favorite foundations. I never had a perfect match, so hence why I have all of these shades. I have 209 Caramel Beige, 210 Classic Tan, and 208 Sun Beige. They all were used at different times of the year, most of the time mixed in some form or fashion, but I have not used these in over a year, so they are out. This Pro Matte Foundation, this one was in the shade Caramel Beige, and I liked it okay, but I used to mix it sometimes with the Pro Matte. Once again, I haven't used this one in over a year, so it's gone. Next are 3 little ones from subscription boxes and things like that. All 3 of these don't match me. The Smashbox one is 3.18. This Tarte one was, I don't even know what the shade is supposed to be for this one. Oh, Tan Honey. Did this one match? No. I think the Smashbox one might have been close, but no cigar kind of thing. Yeah, the Smashbox one was kind of close, but not. And this Yensa BC foundation, sort of like a BB cream and a CC cream together. That one I did not open yet, so I don't know if it matches me. It's the shade Tan Neutral. I'll just put it in the, haven't used it yet, so we'll keep that. This Peach Perfect one by Too Faced, I actually really like this one in the summertime. It is somewhat of a matte foundation, but it's not too bad, so I'm going to keep that one. This Sunday Riley foundation, I did enjoy. It's in the shade 240. I didn't gravitate to this one very often, and I think it's because it would just get kind of lost in the sauce, but I don't have anything bad to say about that one, so I'm going to hold on to that one. This Fenty Hydrating Foundation in the shade 345 is good, not great. I think I'm going to hold on to this one. You guys know the Bite Beauty Changemaker Foundation. I love this one. It's in the shade T105. These two by Revlon. This one in 350 doesn't match me. This one in 440 is actually a good match, and I like how this lays on the skin. This Studio Sculpt by MAC. This shade is NC44. It was the closest in this particular formula, but it's never been a great match. It's kind of reddish, so I'm going to go ahead and declutter that. And these last three, these two by Lancome. It's one of my favorite tinted moisturizers. It is staying. This one by NARS. I think I got it in the shade Medium Dark 2 Seychelles in the hope that I was going to match this when I went on vacation one time. This might have even been 2 years ago. So not only is this expired, it never matched me. I was really, really, really expecting a lot out of the sun this particular summer. So my hands are usually the darkest part of my body. My face is usually around this color, and it just wasn't the right undertone, not the right shade. Just as I'm gonna have to go ahead and pass that one along. Okay, now we're going to go into foundations. We're going to start with drugstore options. This foundation, I used to really like this one. This is CoverGirl Health, the Vitalist Healthy Elixir. Raw Beauty Christie talked about this so much that I had to end up buying it. I bought the shade 755 and 757. They both did work for me depending on the time of the year, and I really did like this. It's just really old, so I think these are probably 2 years old, so I need to go ahead and get rid of those, but I really did like this foundation. Okay, this Milani Conceal and Perfect, I got it in the shade 9 Tan. I don't know if Milani has come out with new shades since I bought this, but this shade never really worked for me, so I'm gonna go ahead and declutter that one. Now, this Neutrogena Hydro Boost Hydrating Tint, I clearly liked the formula, which is why I kept searching for a match. I mean, I searched and searched and searched. These were the three that I ended up purchasing. 105 caramel, 115 cocoa, and 85 honey. And I used to make these work. Believe it or not, this gray looking shade, when I put it on the face, it actually used to work the best. That's the caramel 105. But it's kind of dried out at this point, and it looks like I barely used it, but that's because I was always mixing and just trying to make it work, so I didn't use a lot. But I loved the way that this used to sit on the skin, and I just wish I had a better match. Okay. This one is by Physicians Formula, and it is the Healthy Foundation. I have the shade DW2. I love this stuff. This is one of my favorite drugstore foundations of all time. So that is staying. This foundation by Maybelline. It's the Matte and Poreless. And it's not actually very matte. Even though I have normal to dry skin, I found that it wasn't too matte at all. I have it in the shade 332, Golden Caramel. This shade was one of the best winter foundations that I could find at the drugstore, and it took me a really long time to find a good winter match at the drugstore. I am going to hold on to this one because I'm hard to match when I lose all of my summer tan. This Wet n Wild foundation, everybody used to rave about this stuff. I couldn't get past the paint smell, and I didn't have a great foundation match as well. This one is Desert Beige. I didn't even try to find a better match because it smells so bad. This one by e.l.f. It is their oil-free SPF 15 foundation. I had it in the shade Caramel, or just the shade Caramel. It was a good match, but it made my skin itch, so I didn't like that one. This foundation by CoverGirl, the Stay Luminous, as well as the CoverGirl Queen collection, both of these were just okay. This CoverGirl Stay Luminous, I liked the way it sat on my skin, but it was just a little bit too pink. And this CoverGirl Queen foundation, even though I liked the shade on this one, I didn't like how it sat on the skin. So this one is in Q800 and this one is in 860. So they were both decent matches, but I didn't really care one way or another, and I haven't picked these up in a long time. Okay, so next we'll go into our higher end foundation. Let's start off with the Pure 4-in-1 Selfie Foundation. I bought about 10 of these in different small sizes like this. I think they were doing a thing where you could buy 10 of the smaller size for a very, very reasonable price. I can't remember what the price was, but it was good enough of a deal for me to pick up several shades. And the fact that they had 100 shades in this foundation just made trying to choose one online almost impossible. So I picked up several of these. I like the formula. I didn't like it enough to purchase a full size of any of them, but I like it enough to use several of the ones I have. And because it is such an extensive shade collection, there were several in this line that I could use. And I have an entire box of them, and I plan on using those. So that will stay. My Fenty Pro Filter Matte Foundation. I still enjoy this one. I have it in the shades 345 and 350, depending on time of the year. But usually I wear 345, so I'm going to keep those. This Perricone foundation, it's kind of a serum foundation, and I was sent this one by Influencer. I did not like this foundation. I didn't like the shade. I didn't like how it sat on the skin. I didn't like anything about it. So that's a go. That's a pass. The Too Faced Born This Way foundation. I tried and tried and tried to make this one work because so many people like it. The shade is good. I have the shade Warm Sand. It is a very good match, actually, but I do not like the way this sits on my skin. I've tried it. Usually I use a brush because that's my preferred method of application, but I have tried it with a sponge. I don't know. This one I've tried probably more than any other foundation to make work, and I just don't like it. My Cover FX, I have them in the shade G70 and G60, one of my favorite foundations of all time. The bottles are kind of plastic, so it looks like it doesn't match me, but these foundations match very well depending on the time of the year, and I absolutely love this foundation. So those are staying. Okay, the Lancome Teint Idole foundation. I have 2 of these. When I bought one originally, I don't know what time of year or what vacation I must have just come off of, because I have this one in the shade 450 Suede, and I've tried to put this one on I don't know how many times. This one is too deep, and now I have the shade 435 Bisque Warm. This one is okay. The undertone is a little, I don't know. It's just something about it is a little off. I actually think the undertone of the 450 Suede Neutral is a better undertone, but the shade is too deep. And I think that's why that's why I've kept both of them. Um, I enjoy this foundation. The way it sits on the skin is great. The lasting power is fantastic. Just never take a picture while you're wearing this. The flashback is unreal. At least on me. I don't know about other people, but the flashback on these is horrible. I want to keep them because if I'm going somewhere and I need it to last all day in the summertime, this is my go-to. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep those. And this is the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I got a small one. I'm glad I did because this is not the right shade. Once again, I bought it online. Clearly not the best foundation shopper online, but shade 8 is too light for me. So I think I have a friend who might be able to wear that. That one is the donate pile. And my current favorite foundation, the Anastasia Luminous Foundation. This one is going nowhere. Love this one. Okay, so we did really, really well. I must have been holding on to these foundations for, I don't even know why. Why do we hold on to makeup that we're not using? Don't know, but we're not doing it in 2021. That's what we're not doing. So we got rid of 28 foundations. I think that is pretty good. And we're keeping 21. I think that is a successful declutter. Thanks for watching, you guys. Have a great night.